Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. When we need to look at certain areas of the horoscope which will give us good results, we tend to look at what are the houses which will give us the strongest results and the best results. And for these we tend to look at where the planets are placed in their own signs, in the Mool Trikon signs, or if there is a strong yoga in that. However, is there a particular area or a house which gives us the most unreliable results, and we tend to get stuck when we look at areas or attributes related to that house. We know that each house has certain areas related to it. The Lagna is about our health, our standing in society, our prestige. The second house is about earnings, savings, principles, our values, food, family, and so on. The third house is about short journeys, marketing, branding, social media, or self-enterprise, and so on. So if there is a house which is most unreliable, then we would tend to get unreliable or less trustworthy results from that house. Which house is that? Now on the top of it, it's easy to name, for example, the Dusthanas as unreliable. But generally astrologers agree that the 8th house results are the most unreliable results that it tends to turn up, because we don't know for sure what manifestation the 8th house will throw up. However, based on how your horoscope is configured, based on how your planetary placements are configured, where they are placed, there would be one house irrespective of a specific house which may become unreliable. How to identify that house which is the most unreliable in your horoscope? For simple astrological placements, a house which has 2 to 3 planets in it and is under the aspect of another 2 to 3 is seen as a house which will give up different combinations of results, complications of results, and it will not be able to, and one will not be able to fathom what results we are getting out of that house. So if you have any house which has more than 2 to 3 planets and is also under the aspect of another 2 to 3 planets, then you will not get easy results from that, or you will not be able to manifest results from it easily, and hence then that results from that house become unreliable, and so you can term that house as an unreliable house. For example, if there are 3 planets in the Lagna, plus if Mars is placed in the 10th house and aspecting the Lagna, Saturn is in the 4th house and also aspecting the Lagna, then you would have 3 planets already there in the Lagna which are influencing the results of the Lagna, plus Mars aspecting the Lagna, plus Saturn aspecting the Lagna. So obviously the combination of results that may come out, especially during the various transits, during the dashas of the planets, will not be easy to fathom, and so that house then becomes unreliable in terms of its manifestations, what output it will give, and eventually you can term that house as an unreliable house. The other thing is, if you have opposing forces which are in a house, plus there are another 2 or 3 influences on that. For example, Saturn and Mars are opposing forces. Saturn slows down results, whereas Mars pushes hard for results. So if both of them, you have a yuti or a conjunction of Saturn and Mars in any house, plus if you have either Rahu placed in it or Rahu aspecting the house either with its 5th aspect or with its 9th aspect, then that house will also become a house which will not be easy to fathom and may turn up unreliable or complicated results for one to ascertain. Now one thing which will give you almost very, very clear results is the placement of moon. We know that all the planets have certain transition periods of transiting from one house to the other or one sign to the other. In this we know Saturn has almost 2.5 years, Rahu and Ketu have 18 months each, and we know that Jupiter has a transition of a year being in a sign and then moving on. Then the other planets, Sun takes a month each to move from one sign to the other, and then Venus, Mars and Mercury, based on their either retrograde motion or direct motion, may take anywhere between 20 days to even more than 2 months for their transit. However, one planet which is the fastest in terms of changing the sign is the Moon. Moon changes its sign every 2 days and roughly 8 hours each, which means that every 2.3 days the moon will be changing the sign. Every 1 day and few hours the moon will changing the nakshatra. So obviously the moon will turn up or throw up a variety of results almost on a day-to-day basis. And so if moon is placed in any house and it is not very strong, then you will tend to see that that house, irrespective of whether other afflictions are there on it or aspects are there on it or not, that house may turn up a different number of combinations, different complications every now and then. And that house which has a moon in it will tend to turn up to you results which will be unexpected, which will be unsolicited, and sometimes the results will be completely diagonally opposite to what even astrologers tell us, that these results are what you may get from this house where moon is placed. So wherever your moon is placed in the horoscope, be very careful how you analyze the results of that house, especially if moon is either in combustion or debilitation or is weak, or even if it's a waning moon. I've already made a video on the waning and the waxing moon which I've released only yesterday. You may also look at that to know how the moon can throw up different kind of results, whether it's in a waning phase or a waxing phase. So if the moon is in a waning phase also, which is decreasing in this luminosity on a day-to-day basis, which means from a full moon it is moving towards the new moon, then too the moon will throw up unreliable or complicated results. So you will be able to see that wherever the moon is placed in your horoscope, you will not get easy to fathom results from that house. It will throw up different results from time to time, and there will be a lot of activity in that house. If it's placed in the 10th house, you may find that there are a lot of activity which is in the 10th house. Careers may go through some changes every now and then. There may be role changes, there may be changes in your supervisors, in your bosses, there may be change in location, there may be change in the industry. For example, you are in HR, but you are in HR in one industry, say for example the real estate, then you move into HR into the vehicle industry or the automobile industry, or you move into airlines. So those kind of changes every now and then will also be coming up if moon is placed in a certain house. Moon placed in the 6th house may give you also issues in service. That means a continuous service will not be easy for you. There may be breaks in your service. For example, you work for 2-3 years, there may be a break for a few months, and then again you join another service, another industry, another area, again you work in it, again there may be a change also. If moon is very weak, moon is very afflicted in the 6th house, then the initial part of the career, the first 7-8 years would have surely thrown up many challenges to you and it would not have been easy to settle down. So wherever moon is placed in the horoscope, whichever house, you will find it will take time for you to settle down and it will not be easy. The other is if you have any doshas in a certain house. For example, if you have Vish dosha, the Shrapit dosha, the Angakarak dosha, then we know that obviously some challenges may come in from that particular house. However, if there is an aspect of a benefic on that dosha, then what happens is the dosha will definitely play its part. However, the benefic planet, by virtue of its aspect, will reduce the afflictions. So the result that you would otherwise get from a Vish dosha and now be different. Now it will be depending on how strong the dosha is plus how strong the aspect of the benefic is on it. So if you are not able to fathom exactly how it is going to play out, the aspect of a benefic planet on a dosha, then it will not be easy for you to ascertain whether the conjunction, the yuti between malefics giving you the dosha is going to throw up a certain results or not. You may get a mixed bag. In a certain dasha and antardasha period, you may expect challenges to come by, but you will find you would have done better in that. Some planets tend to also give you results to the contrary. Rahu and Ketu are very infamous for this. Rahu, of course, we know that it will throw up different combinations, different complications. It will pull the wool over our eyes and we don't know whether we'll give X results or Y results, and so it will always keep us on our toes. Ketu, on the other hand, we expect it to be a negator of results, it to subdue the results that we get from a certain house in which it is placed, or from the planet with which Ketu is placed. However, sometimes Ketu also tends to surprise us, because Ketu is supposed to give you lesser results of that house, but sometimes Ketu gives you 10 times the results that you don't expect from that house. One of the reasons from that is basis your attitude. If you have an attitude of not focusing too much as a greed component of that house, say for example Ketu is in the 4th house, and if you have been somebody who has served the family without expecting much in return, been somebody who is a good father, been a good spouse, because the 4th house is the house of domestic bliss and your happiness, mental happiness, then obviously because of you having a perspective and attitude of serving and doing more for others and not expecting in return, then Ketu obviously will give you good returns and good results. So that is a purely Ketu's manifestation, that wherever you do selfless service and you expect less, there Ketu will give you more, and wherever you show greed and you expect more and you have Ketu placed in that house or Ketu placed with that planet, Ketu tends to give you less. So that's how Ketu also will manifest. So now you need to be sure how you are behaving about the areas of the house where Ketu is placed. Then a house on which there are many aspects and a combination of some malefic aspects and some benefic aspects. Say for example, if you have the 10th house and you have both benefic and malefic aspects on that house, then that house may also tend to give you different kinds of results. The trine houses are stronger in this sense, where they will give you more expected results, they will give you results based on your effort and you have more freedom. However, the Kendra houses, especially if they are afflicted with a certain dosha plus malefics being placed in them or expecting them, will also tend to throw you different kind of challenges and issues, sometimes which you are not able to fathom, you are not able to settle, or you are not able to handle. And the last but not the least is the 12th house. The 12th house is the most mysterious of the houses in terms of what is going to be in your final stage of your life, where you are going to be, what you will be doing. We make plans for our retirement, we make plans for our future, we make plans that after my 55th year or after my retirement age, this is what I am going to do, that is what I am going to do. However, many times we are not able to plan. There, the mysterious 12th house, because it is an onward house based on what we have done so far and based on the karma. So, because of all the karma that we have either played out basis what the prarabdha karma was given to us, or we have not played out, the 12th house will play its part accordingly. And hence 12th house is also one house where it's not easy to fathom what results we'll get out of it. So some people say it is a house of solitude, waste and excess, you will be alone, and sometimes in the terms of our retirement we may feel alone, we may also feel left out, and we may probably be alone, or we may have just a spouse who may be able to give us company. However, that tends to also throw out different kinds of results, even from a mid-30s. If we have not understood the placements in that house and we have pushed our limits where our expectations from the others is concerned, wherever we depend more on ourselves, there the results will come better for us. And then the Astak Varga scores. Many times we don't look at the Astak Varga scores of a certain house and what are the final tally of it, and there, because we don't pay attention to the Astak Varga scores, we look at only a yoga, we look only at a dosha, and hence so we misread what the results of that house is going to be. So whenever you are looking at results from a house, also look at what are the overall manifestations of the house, whether there are yogas, doshas, whether there are malefic aspects, benefic aspects of that house, and how moon is placed in that house. But also do look at what the Astak Varga scores of the particular houses and what Dasha and Antardasha period is going to play out for you. So friends, look into your own horoscopes and fathom for yourself and look for yourself which house is becoming the most unreliable house for you by either having a weak moon or combusted moon or a waning moon, because that house will surely throw up different areas and different complications in your life and different changes, upheavals in your life. Look at that house where there are more planets placed and under the aspect of others. Look at that house where you have Ketu and Rahu access and with many other planets and more aspects of other planets. Look at that house which has a dosha and has the aspect of a benefic. That particular house or houses will surely throw up a plethora of results for you, many of which you may not have ascertained earlier. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me, the links given below. Please subscribe to my channel so that you get to know when my new video is coming. Please suggest any particular area of astrology which you want me to make a video on, I'll try and see if I can oblige. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend Astrology and Guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.